And hello everybody and welcome to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we are going to be flying from Gatwick to Paris Charles de Gaulle in the A320 in the very nicely done British Airways livery. So let's get into it then, shall we? So we're going to start by turning on the battery, setting up the APU, getting our flight details and that. So turn the batteries on, I turn the fuel pump on for the APU, set the master on, get the starter going so the APU starts off, and turn the nav lights on, wing lights on, beacon, well the wing lights don't have to be on, neither do the nav lights, beacon should be on though, but I'd always turn these all on anyway. Turn dome light on so we can see a bit more of what we're doing, make sure we've got the seatbelt and passenger no smoking lights on, obviously. Okay, so that's the APU set up. I won't put the bleed on just yet, we'll just get our stuff in first. Make sure we know where we're going.
Gatwick Airport information Gulf 1700 Zulu. Wind 300 and 12. Visibility tree. Sky condition ceiling 4,400 feet overcast. Temperature 13. 2.10. Altimeter 29.59er. ILS runway 26 left and visual runway 26 right in use. Landing and departing runway 26 left and runway 26 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact UF Gulf. Gatwick Airport information Gulf 1700.
Okay, so we've got that set up.
LM2LY1 is cleared to De Gaulle Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 26 left climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.475 squawk 5353.
LM2LY1 cleared to De Gaulle Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 26 left climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure on 118.475 squawk 5353.
LM2LY1 read that correct. Contact ground on 121.805. Good day.
Okay, so we've got all that stuff up, the altimeter set up to what it's supposed to be. We've got our speed setting ready for
117 IFR dessert ready to
later on. Heading setting, the altitude setting.
is cleared to Zurich Airport as filed.
Let's go quick turn the weather radar on.
Maintain 7,000 feet.
Turn that to
Departure frequency is
weather and turbulence.
025 squawk 4014.
Right, yeah, so we can
117 clear to Zurich Airport as filed. Takeoff runway
turn the APU bleed on.
maintain 7,000 feet. Departure on 118.475 squawk 4014.
There it is. So that is now ready for the engine to start up, and we'll start them up as we get pushed back. We've just got to wait for this to clear so we can talk to the ground services and get pushed back.
Gatwick ground LM2LY1 requesting pushback.
LM2LY1 pushback request accepted. EC8176 continue taxiing. Gatwick ground EC897
Apologies for the sudden cut off there, my phone started ringing. Very professional of me, but I'm not professional so I don't really care. Anyway, we're about to start pushing back now. We have enough fuel for the flight. That's more than enough fuel for the flight. We're going to be using too much fuel. It's only a short half-an-hour flight from takeoff to touchdown. So now that we're pushing back, we're going to turn on engine 1 just to get that going. So there it is, starting up. Have a look what that looks like from outside. I'm going to push back a bit and then I'm going to try and get the tug to pull me around this way so then I'm facing out. Bit of a busy day today. So that's enough for the pushback. Right, parking brake is on, so we don't just start rolling. Start up the second engine now. When the tug's out of the way, I'll be putting the taxi lights on. Okay. Alright, and we're gonna go back to clearance, get request the taxi. I'm gonna basically be following this jet for a bit. I do have the taxi ribbons on because I'm terrible at navigating around an airport. So, yeah. Apologies for that, but that's gonna have that will always be a thing. Anyway, we can start moving now. I'll acknowledge that. Bring the power up and roll or just going on a engines decided not to work properly because I haven't turned the fuel pumps on. I knew there was something. I always forget something. It's the most critical thing though. Don't forget the bloody fuel pumps. I'm bring it back down so we don't just put the parking brakes back on. Why are you on? You should be off. You can see that I'm just absolutely amazing at this. Believe me, it'll get better as soon as I take off. The flying bit, great at. It's just the ground stuff I'm. No double engine start up, and they've both got the bleed on, so they've both been helping each other spool up. Alright, now that's done, I can turn the air bleed off on everything. The APU's going to come off as well. Parking brake is off. Let's roll. Everything's clear. Everything's clear. So yeah, we are going to be taking off on runway 26 right, I believe it said. We're We're pretty much going to be going straight out and then turning to the right and heading straight towards France. We've got an initial height of 9,000 feet, as you can see on the dials there. We should be going up to about, would have thought about 21,000 feet, but it's subject to change. It does always change. Every now and again I do get a bit of a higher altitude. I do this flight every now and again because I quite like doing the flights at Gatwick and into Gatwick, and that's a little bit more, I find it a bit more interesting than Heathrow and that for some reason. Gatwick always seems to be a bit busy, but Heathrow's always a bit dead. Anyway, yeah, so this is going to be about half-hour-ish flight. Might be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. Kind of depends on what the weather's doing. It's also going to depend on, I've already set the stuff in, but it'll depend on whether we get redirected around a little bit or if there's other aircraft in the way. It should be about half an hour as soon as we start. As soon as we lift off to the point where we touch down again, because obviously flight times do not include taxiing times, which I think they should on here, but then again that's a big variable though. That can change quite drastically as well. For some reason it could bring me out round all the way to the other side of the airport and then back into here again. Should have set the autopilot up properly. We've got the nav has been set up properly. I know that's working. Just have to hope that this flight goes quite nicely. It's going to be quite a nice flight regardless. Sun's setting, should be just about dark by the time we get there. The last bits of light should be ebbing away. Be a nice view when we get up to height. When we hit 10,000 feet I'm going to be speeding up to about 300 knots, and then above 15,000 I'm going to go up to about 320 knots. That should get us there in plenty of time. There's what's that? Is that a robin? Is that a robin? Is that a robin? Not too sure what that is. So I'm just going to stop here. Actually, I'm going to move forward a little bit because the signs are there and I can pretty much stop at the signs as long as I don't actually go onto the runway. Have to wait for this guy to go. Alright, let's just idle them, save fuel. Tune into Gatwick Tower. We're going to get clearance to take off. Set up the landing lights, taxi lights to take off. Runway lights are on, and the strobe lights are now on. Alright. So, clear to go onto the runway, but we're not taking off yet. We're going to have to wait until that little thing takes off in front of us. It looks like it's already taken off. So, by the time we line up, we should be able to leave. I need to put the flap down one notch. So there shouldn't be anything coming down behind us on final. And if there is, it should be a fair bit out. So I'm just going to halt here just to make sure I don't go any further and block up the runway or cause a problem. I was just waiting till the tower clears us. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to move forwards. Oh, no. There we go. Right, so we're now up. I'm going to contact London Centre once this woman shuts up. And then once they give us permission to continue with the route, I will turn the nav follow on. The autopilot's now on, so we're heading up nicely. We've got the gears up, the flaps are up, everything's all fine, engines are working, fuel's fine, everything's good. Don't know where that jet came from, because apparently it wasn't on final when we came onto the runway, but all of a sudden there it was. That's it. It's fine. Right, so now we've got to go up to 16,000. So I'm just going to do that. So now the aircraft is going to follow its predetermined thing. I'll do that, and then that. There we go. Alright, so now the aircraft is going to be following the pre-planned flight path, so it's going to turn around and head for the thing. For where it thinks it's supposed to be, I need to turn the dome lights off. Need them on while we're flying. Bit of excessive glare then. In real life you'd have them off because you know, glare up the glass, you won't be able to see what the hell you're doing half the time. Plus it also kind of looks a bit nicer with the cockpit darker, especially with this nice sunset. I'm though going to turn up, no, not the glare shield, that's the wrong one. We want this one. Console just a bit brighter, which makes everything look a bit nicer in my opinion. So when we actually, you know what, we'll have a look outside, we'll do it in the drone view. I can get the screenshots actually, it's really nice. That's nice. It's nice sunset, that's flying your aircraft. So there's Gatwick. So we've come up, we've gone along here, obviously rising altitude, turned around about there, Now we're coming back over. Heading off to France. Somewhere over there. So yeah, where did we start? We started about there. About there. Taxied all the way up there. Around here. Took off from here. Now we're about 12,000 feet above it. That's the wrong button, there's the button we want. So if we're above 10,000 feet now, turn you off, turn the landing lights off. To you. Go. Right. So that's the above 10,000 feet stuff done. That'll all be coming on before we come back down under 10,000 feet. On the approach into Paris Charles de Gaulle. I admit the visuals on this game are very pretty. Not 100% with it, but very nice to look at nonetheless. See all the see an aircraft down there, just to the right of the cursor. What I like about night flying, the best bit about night flying is you can see all the strobe lights and the navigation lights of other aircraft kicking around. There's another two down there, so there, and there, little white dots. You can see airports for miles, well, most airports you can see for miles. I've seen many for miles now because there's quite a good cloud cover. No horrific weather though, it's just a bit of strong wind. Yeah, just a little bit of strong wind. This one's over to the side. Anyway, I'm going to turn that on as well. Really shut up for a bit and just enjoy it. Can't help but take another screenshot, a couple of screenshots before the sun disappears, as it's just starting to now. So it's behind the clouds, like a silhouette. Well, by the time we get there, yeah, it's going to be dark, because the stars have already started to come out now. The sun's just about to go down. If we are coming over the channel now. Yep. It's the edges of England. Leaving England, you can just see a piece of European coast over there. Yeah, it'll be over. We'll have France in about 5-10 minutes. It really won't, really isn't going to take too long to get to Paris. I'll give it, the airspace is very busy at the moment. I do have this on live weather, live time, so this is literally as it is now in the area, and if I look out the window, because I'm in England and it's pretty much roughly the same at this point. Yeah, it's about the same sort of darkness. Weather's almost the same as well. Yeah, a bit windy. You notice while I was taking screenshots, the plane was being buffeted around a bit. There's a plane over there. Yeah, it'll be dark in about 15 minutes. Sun will be gone, maybe. Not that actually saying that, I think the weather's going to get worse. There's an airport down there. Weather might get a bit worse as we head over the continent with it getting colder and that. I do also have live traffic on and multiplayer on, so there is AI traffic that's representing real aircraft, which is probably what that one is over there, and there are some multiplayer stuff going on as well. Also, because it is oh, you know what, that is a really annoying thing that happens when you go onto the cursor thing. Every now and again it just thinks you're trying to turn left and it throws, or right, and it throws the aircraft in a weird direction, disengages your autopilot, you have to come off everything, re-engage your autopilot, and oh, it's such a pain. Set E. There we go. How fast do we go? How fast do you think we're going? We're going at 230. Dude, I need to go to 320 now that I'm of 15,000. It's disengaged because of the guys, everything's all settling down now. Right, I've got the contact Paris now, seeing as we're starting to come into French airspace. That is also the plane turning itself, that's not me turning it or anything else, it's following the flight plan. So let's reset that. Altimeter set, we should be at the right altitude now. So on here, this green line, this is the line we are following. Just quickly change it over to plan. So we're following the green line. And this is our whole flight plan set out. as you can see, we've got a long stretch down here, about 63 nautical miles. As it reads out up here, this is the next waypoint we're going for. This is how far it is, that's the rough time we'll get there. This is all your wind and weather stuff. So that arrow is basically telling you where the wind is going in comparison to the way the plane's facing. This is better because on here you can just see your local thing. You can see your old waypoint turning up, next waypoint, diamond there indicates if my plane's facing forwards, which is that yellow line, but the wind is slightly blowing us to the left, so the diamond is showing which way the plane's actually moving. So it's slightly moving sideways. So instead of going forwards, it's going forwards and left a little. Sort of diagonalish. Same thing can be seen here, the diamond and the true facing of the aircraft. Speed, got your altitude, it'll be sitting about 16,000 now, which I'm quite happy with. Usually do go higher, about 21,000 feet, sometimes about 29,000 feet, don't really need to go any higher than that. I'm just going to sit here. It's about a good height. And we're at about 320 knots, which is a good speed, especially with tailwind on us, we'll be going a lot faster. So we should be arriving there a lot quicker than was expected, because we'll be being pushed along from behind by the wind as well as the engine power. So that's the European coast, that is France. We are just about to enter into, so we're just coming out the channel. We'll be heading over France in about 30 seconds to a minute. Just going to turn the range back down to 10 nautical miles so we can just see 10 nautical miles around us. It will make it a bit easier if any aircraft are nearby as well. If there are aircraft nearby, which there isn't at the moment, there'll be kind of a diamond like that one, but it will be white. If we are too close, it'll be a white diamond that is filled in with a white block colour. So we're now
Speed not above 250 knots. Expect
on the approach section for, well, on our chosen approach section for Charles de Gaulle. So we're now being slowed down. Oh, excuse me, sorry. We're not lowering altitude yet, we're still quite a way out, but we are starting to slow down. So this is in preparation for coming down below 10,000 feet. That is annoying as well. It's another one of those annoying bits. It's down to about 230. We've got a contact Paris Centre on another frequency. It's Paris Centre handing us off to Paris Centre, but different areas require different frequencies for this, so we are talking to another part of it. So Marlborough is about 17 nautical miles away. Anyone's wondering why me being in the British Airways A320 and I'm not being called on as Speedbird in by the ATC, that is because I have not set my thing to be called Speedbird. I am just Oscar Mike to Lima, whatever the hell I was, 1. Which you set up in the settings, and I have not been bothered to change it, just depending on whatever aircraft I'm flying. But if you hear air traffic control speaking to a aircraft that is called Speedbird and then whatever number, Speedbird is always British Airways aircraft. No idea what that is though. So we can just see Marlborough's just come up on the flight plan, and for some reason we are turning left, and that is not because I've caused a problem, that is the plane doing that by itself. Huh. That's... Is the autopilot still on? Yeah, the autopilot's still on. I guess we've just gone slightly off course or something then. Let's just try and correct something. Oh well. Forgot to acknowledge that, so there we go. Alright, coming down to 7,000 feet, engines are spooling down, we're still below 250, so that is fine. With about 15,000 feet and dropping. We are now turning left at Marlborough. Everything is going relatively okay. Surprisingly. green diamonds on there are all waypoints. These are usually approach and arrival, arrival and departure sort of pathways. So you'd follow these into certain airports or follow them out of the airports. We are not following any of them. We are only following our preset one, so our next one is BOV, Bravo Oscar Victor, which is about 12 nautical miles away now. Should be there at about 18:14, which is 6:14, 6:15 in the evening. Still got a fair bit of wind, so this is coming in at... So since we've got a wind of about 31, 32 knots coming in from direction of 313 at 31 knots. It's a fairly knocky headwind, not too bad. It's nothing we can't fly in. Nothing we can't land in either. We've got a crosswind like that with that amount of knots, so you can still sort of pull it off. It's a bit bumpy and a bit tricky, but it's doable. What altitude are we at? We are coming in 10,000 feet, so landing lights come back on. So let's just take off ready for the landing and put them back on ready. So when we land, they are all set up. It's now getting very dark. Clouds here, so just going into them. So we're now talking to the approach for Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. So we are now in contact with the airport. We are passing over waypoint of BOV, Bravo Oscar Victor, and heading for Papa Golf 528, which is about 14 nautical miles away. Still got the wind coming up behind us. We might be landing with a tailwind by the looks of it. That'll be interesting. We're coming in a little bit unstable, so we won't be having wind blowing on the front keeping us up as well, so that's going to be interesting. We might have to go down to full flaps for this, potentially. Should only really need three flaps, coming at about 140 knots. Yeah, we should be alright, right? Files be a bit bumpy. Now, I haven't turned seatbelts off, have I? No, because it's only a short flight, so there's no point. Alright, so we're flying about 230 knots, coming down to 7,000 feet. Yep, we're at 7,000 feet. Let's just make sure this works. And the phone's ringing again. Sorry about that. Girlfriend keeps ringing all the time. It's only in the other room. She keeps ringing every time. She apparently wants to watch a movie at the moment, so it's ringing, trying to get my attention, but I'm trying to land the plane at the moment. Once it's done, she'll get all the attention she wants, but I'm a bit busy at the moment. There's an aircraft out to the left. Just keep an eye on that, because it's a few miles out, but it's quite close. You might be able to see it on here. See it on there? It's not close enough. I don't think it is close enough. No, it's not close enough. That PG 528, that's not an aircraft, but the aircraft symbol does look a bit like that, but it's more of an elongated diamond. If it pops up, I'll show you. As the aircraft's currently in the clouds, I think it's moving away from us. I can see red lights there, so I think it should be moving away from us a little bit. It should be at least on the correct side. It's still not on here, so I think it's over 10 nautical miles away from us anyway, so we should be alright. We can just probably ignore it now. It's just because it's gotten so dark I can see the lights from a bit further off. Definitely a lot of cloud around. Right, so we're now coming down to 4,000 feet, still about 21 nautical miles out from the next waypoint, which is not the airport. The airport should just be a bit after that. We're now flying through clouds as the landing lights are all lighting the clouds up. Yeah, I'll slow this down in preparation. So we should be at a reasonable speed by 4,000 feet and good enough to slow down to 140 by the time we come onto the approach. Excuse my phone going off. We're down to about 210 knots. We are just levelling out at 4,000 feet now. This train's starting to come in there. Actually, I don't think that's train. No, that's weather. That there is turbulence. so there's a little bit of a strong turbulence kicking around, but not too bad, and that's not on our flight path. You can see there is an aircraft transitioning left to right of us. It may become a problem. Need to that aircraft should be coming in ahead of us. So before we hit that corner, there it is. It's that little white diamond there. That's the aircraft that's moving in front of us. That's what the aircraft look like on the radar screen. Little elongated white diamond instead of a normal sort of blocky white diamond for a waypoint. So when we come onto this corner here, when the plane starts turning right, we will lower the speed down to 140 knots, bring the first notch flaps in. So we, and then when we get down to about 160 knots, we'll bring in the second notch flaps. And then when we are on final, we will bring in the last notch of flaps. Just going to make sure that is weather and not terrain. Yep. That was terrain. Now we've got weather. Yep, got a bit of turbulence coming up in a sec. So that's the aircraft in front of us, heading over. Just got to this. So when I start making the turn, I will transition over to the Bull Tower. So when we're on the approach, so they're reasonably ahead of us, so we're not going to conflict with them. So we're over there, they're released. They should be roughly about 5 miles away from us at the moment. So all safe. Right, so we're now coming into the turn. So I'm going to start tuning to the Bull Tower. Slow us down to 140. Now with our first notch flaps in, we are cleared onto the localizer. So that's the airport in front of us. The aircraft's just overcompensating just a little bit, because it's just come off of the path some. But it's fine. So of the two white ones directly in front of me, the two white lights, they are the runways. There's two to the right as well, but the ones in front of us, we are landing on the one on the right. So soon, alright, slow down the flaps to second set of flaps. So that's the aircraft now situated. We are directly in front of the in line, well, more or less in line with the runway. Looks like there might be a bit turbulence as we come in, but we should be alright. So we've still got a few minutes before we touch down, so we don't need to bring the gears down or anything just yet. I'll sort of side slipping a bit, so where's the wind coming from? Yeah, so we're alright. We've got a crosswind, 24, 25 knot crosswind. Might get a little bit hairy as we head in, because this is quite a considerable crosswind. Should be alright. Just check the terrain. Yes, there's the airport at the top there. Yeah, we'll be alright. It should be alright. So plane is trying to compensate at the moment. It is sort of flying sideways onto the runway. We will take over when we get landing clearance, so I'm going to take the autopilot off. The speed will stay on auto throttle, but I'll be flying us in the rest of the way. And we're going to come into the third notch flaps. We have one more notch flap, so we can go into the rear, so we have to not. Just make sure you sit nice and high. Have a pretty hefty angle of attack. Should be cleared in momentarily. When we're cleared in, I will go landing gear. There's no point in doing it whilst you're not cleared in, just in case you have to go around. Which we are starting to get a little bit closer. I'm going to take over now anyway. The autopilot is off. I'm just gonna have to eye it now, so we're going to start descending from 4,000 feet down into the runway. The landing gear down in a minute. We'll just get a little bit closer. And already you can see we're wobbling around a little bit. It's just ever sort of hits us a wee bit. I'm going to put the spoilers on just a bit, just to help us drop. It's the, I believe that's the localizer, so we just picked up on that. For a little bit, and it's just move over to the right some.
2,500.
Yeah. Right, clear to land 26 right. Gear down. The last few miles in. Well, it is correct, must be another player there. Shoot across. Jesus. Right, the pappy lights are all white, so we need to bring the nose down a little bit. We're just slightly too high the glide slope. The little lights just to the side. Just the side, there's little lights there. They're all white, you need two of them red, two of them white. That's one red, one white. Alright, regardless, not bringing those down too much. See, this thing sort of drops that sky like a ton of bricks if you really want it to. Right now it's fine, we'll just level a little bit, not coming too steep. There we go. One pappy light's red, so we are just on the glide.
300.
There we go. On glide slope, just below glide slope. Should be fine anyway. We're sort of coming in nice. Just rise up a little bit, just to
100.
make sure we don't come down too early.
60,
Go.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Idle, pull back. Go, touch down, don't know what the hell he's doing. And full reverse thrust, fight the aircraft back towards the centre line. Don't accidentally off the runway. Bring the last notch flap in now, just to help with the slow down. Just back and stick a little bit, just again to help with the slow down. Not going to come off here. Below 60 knots, so we bring the reverse thrust off. He's in the way, so we'll just carry on down the runway. There we go, taxi ribbons are on, help us with navigation. Just taxi a little bit too quickly on the runway, just to make sure that we can expedite off. There's two other aircraft coming in, we must have just been like the last ones coming in that direction. Come off, then that one that's just about to touch down should be alright. won't have to go around now. Right, so we're now landed at Charles de Gaulle. Nice and safe. Yep, right out the way, just in time. Right, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to acknowledge that. Yep. Just concentrating, yep. Right, so we're going to bring the flaps up. Spoilers are off. Alright, I need to turn the strobes off. Tune ground. No. Tune ground. Takes to the gates. And the lights off. Once taxi, that's off, that's all okay. Right, everything that needs to be off is off. It's now clear to taxi the gates, and it's just started raining. Because apparently this class is slow wipers. I'll just stick them on anyway, seeing as it's spitting a little bit. So on this slight straight bit, I'm just going to quickly on the APU, put the bleed on. We can get some power into the aircraft when we shut the engines down, because it does take a few seconds for the APU to start up. It will be needed. I think right now you can see why I have the taxi ribbons on to help me navigate around, because this is just absolutely mental. I can't read them to save my life because they're just so bright and blurred out on my screen. It's just not doable. I'm sat a fair bit back from the screen anyway, so I can't really stick my face right up and into it and read everything. So taxi ribbons are a thing that will pretty much always appear on one of these videos. It doesn't matter, just as long as I actually learn how to manoeuvre the bloody plane properly. It's not raining. As soon as you turn the windscreen on, it's raining. And then your plane starts veering to the left for some reason. Yeah, I'd expect that with like a proper aircraft, because obviously you got the torque forces throwing you around in whatever direction. Especially on takeoff. Oh god, especially on takeoff. Try flying the Spitfire every now and again, that's a nightmare. Even when you put the rudder trim in. So it looks like we're being taken over to that terminal building over there, possibly. That was a bit of a bop. Just about a little bit swinging around the corners, just so I don't hit the corners way too quick. People whiplash in the cabin. guess we're not going over that building then, I guess we're just going around the long way. I assume that ditch, there's supposed to be a road going under that, and also parallel running. Good God. I assume they're going to go in front of us. Slow down, as soon as we're the ones turning in, we'll have to give them right away. Looks like we might be following them. What else is going on? Nope. Clear. Just make sure we keep a distance. Break. Oh, don't. No, don't. Oh, is he going into the same gate we are? Oh, You know what? I actually really hate this sometimes. It's really, really annoying. It's just like little niggly bits sometimes. I know it's an AI aircraft, you can't, it's probably already been pre-programmed in before I even set my thing up. But, oh, God, I hate it when this happens. It'll probably disappear actually by the time we turn in, but we're going to have to turn in. And it's there now, it's in the way, it's causing a problem. We're just going to have to live with it. It's just one of them things. Not every game is perfect, there's always a bit of something odd happening in them. And yeah, that disappear. No, I'm just gonna have to come in and meld with you then, am I? Alright. I guess we're melding. Gonna look great. So, A320 going into a 757. Because I think it's a 757. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can see the I can see my guide. Yeah, okay. A common sight you see it. Charles de Gaulle, his planes going inside planes, It's more likely to Toulouse, more likely to see this, but let's see him. I'm gonna have to start so I can't see him. Oh God, there we go. Is it going to me or to it? Oh God, I don't know what's going on. It's all going wrong. Well, anyway, that's the end of that. I'm just going to turn the engines off, and that's pretty much it. So, thanks for watching this completely weird-ass flight. I don't know, I hope you enjoyed the stupidity of it. Well, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I have no outro for this.